Thank you, Aaron, and many thanks to Patrick Hamaker and Tanya Santiago Pascual for all of your hard work. This is our second town hall meeting, and we're delighted to host this meeting. The purpose of the meeting is to allow you the opportunity to provide input and comment on our 3 maps, which were published on October 7th. And before we begin, I thought I would give you a brief overview of the process that we're going to use today. First, we have a PowerPoint where we will outline the redistricting process and our timelines, and then the districting master, who is our geographic information systems expert, Dennis Higgins, will present the 3 draft maps, A, B, and C. You can find these maps on your website at kingcounty.gov/districting. After that, we will open, after that, we will open the hearing for public comment and to hear your input from anyone who wishes to speak on the draft maps. Your participation in this meeting is essential to our work. Just a couple of issues related to.
Congresswoman from Village Iowa.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm calling to invite you to participate in my upcoming telephone town hall event.
Now that's a lot of irony there. The chair of the districting committee getting a fundraising call during a districting committee meeting. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That is, especially because I can't turn it off. So I apologize. Okay, and yes, Congresswoman Jayapal has a lot of information to impart. Oh, sorry, we'll wait just a moment.
At 6:30 p.m. Pacific. If you would prefer to participate from a different phone number, you can do so by calling 855-286-0292 at the time of the event. Or you can stream the event by going to jayapal.house.gov/live. If you have any questions, please call my office at 206.
It just doesn't end.
0040. I hope you'll join Wednesday's town hall.
You don't want to just pick up and hang up on her, though.
I did. I tried. You know, this is why we have.
Congress should not have the ability to not let you hang up on them.
No, and they wouldn't let me. This is why we have geographic information systems experts to help us, because obviously I am not the most technologically savvy of the group. Just a few comments about the protocols that we're going to use when we get to the public comment part of the town hall, which is really the most important part of what we're trying to do today, is to hear from you. If you could please raise your hand using that function to provide public comment. On Sunday, we had a Zoom bombing incident, so we had to refine our protocols for the town hall. So when you raise your hand, staff will help me figure out who has raised their hands, and then we will unmute you. And I think we'll allow you to enable your video so that you can provide public comment. Comments are limited to matters relating to redistricting and may not be used for the purpose of assisting a campaign or election of any person to any office for the promotion of or opposition to any ballot proposition, and must not include obscene speech. If a speaker fails to abide by these restrictions, the speaker will be required to exit the virtual meeting. So those are the protocols that we're going to use. Have I left anything out, Patrick or Aaron or Tanya?
Chair Schindler, I would just note that we had a few hands raised, but they were lowered. If anyone had a clarifying question they wanted to ask, please raise your hand again. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Before we begin the brief presentation and turn the town hall meeting over to you, I want to take this opportunity to start with an acknowledgement. In King County, we live on the ancestral homelands of the Coast Salish people, a people who have lived in the Salish Sea Basin from time immemorial. Please join me in expressing our deepest respect and gratitude for our Indigenous neighbors, the Duwamish, Snoqualmish, Nisqually, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot tribes for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. We also want to acknowledge the history and experience of Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, Black African Americans, and Hispanic Latinx Americans. With that, I will turn the presentation over to my colleague, Cheryl Jackson-Williams.
Thank you, Chair Schindler. And I want to thank everyone for participating in this important civic process today. Again, my name is Cheryl Jackson-Williams. I'm one of the members here for the King County Districting Committee. I'm also joined by alternate members, as well as the wonderful staff that's really been supporting this process. The goal of the census is to count everyone living in the United States every 10 years. And redistricting is a process that all levels of government throughout the United States go through every 10 years following the census count. This process uses updated population numbers from the census to redraw districts so that they are roughly equal in population. And there are several redistricting processes happening right now. But today we're going to be talking about the King County redistricting process, which redraws the district boundaries for the King County Council District. And our committee is an independent volunteer body. And the committee's sole responsibility is redrawing the King County Council districts based on the latest census data. So under county law, 4 members of the committee were chosen by the King County Council. And the 5th member was selected by those 4 members and serves as the chair. Since none of us are experts in cartography, we also have a districting master, a King County GIS, to handle the technical aspects of drawing the maps. And we will hear from them next. As noted by Judge Schindler, a lot of us have technical challenges. I think the only one that I could probably give deference to is Miss Sophia, who is beautiful and great with looking at GIS, but for the rest of us, definitely we struggle. So it's been beautiful to engage with the districting master and King County GIS to support us in this process. The committee members here are retired Judge Ann Schindler, who is our chair. I just mentioned Sophia Danberg. There's Paul Graves, myself, as well as Rob Saka. Next slide, please. And now let's look at the legal criteria for the committee's work. We need to balance the population so that districts are as nearly equal in population as possible to each other. Districts are to be compact and comprised of contiguous territory. And we are told that ideal shape is a circle, though that is not practical in application, and contiguous meaning they need to connect. So to that extent feasible, district boundaries shall coincide with existing recognized natural boundaries and be composed of economic and geographic units. To the extent possible, district lines should be drawn to preserve existing communities of related and mutual interests. Communities are often stronger when they can vote together and are not divided among multiple districts. So as nearly as practical, district boundaries shall correspond with the boundaries of municipalities and census tracts. And then population data may not be used for purposes of favoring or disfavoring any racial group or political party over another. Next slide, please. So this chart shows the population growth in each district from 2010 to 2020, and based on the official U.S. Census data. And you can see from the chart that all of the districts have grown in population, but some have grown faster than others. Next slide, please. And here we see on a map which of the current council districts need to grow in size to add population and which ones need to shrink. South King County and the districts encompassing South Seattle and West Seattle collectively, and those are districts 2, 5, 7, 8, and 9 need to expand by nearly 25,000 people. And 3 districts stretching across North Central King County need to contract. For instance, District 4 is completely within Seattle. District 6, which includes Bellevue, Kirkland, and other East Side communities, and District 3, which is Issaquah, Sammamish, and parts of Redmond, as well as large rural areas in smaller cities. Then in the north end, we have one district made up of mostly suburban cities with a slice of Seattle that needs to expand. Next slide, please. So over the summer, the committee prioritized listening to and learning about communities of interest. We had 21 community listening sessions in 2 months, and we really appreciate everyone who participated and helped get the word out, as that was critical to our process. The committee is excited to share draft maps with you today and to incorporate your feedback that we heard from those listening sessions. And we're also eager to hear your input today on these draft maps prior to our work to arrive to a singular final draft. Next slide, please. So from September 7th through September 23rd, each member worked with the districting master to develop a draft map that meets all the legal criteria. And at our September 30th meeting, the committee reviewed similarities and differences between the preliminary draft maps. 2 maps were combined. And then on October 7th, the committee published 3 draft maps for review and public input at these town hall meetings. So town hall meetings are going to be held. Well, one was already held on the 17th. We're having one today. We'll have additional 2 meetings that'll be held on the 20th and 21st. And after the town hall meetings, the committee will continue to evaluate the 3 maps and take into account the input that we're hearing from you all today and deciding on the final draft map. And the committee will then give direction to the districting master to prepare a final draft map. We then have a tight plan approval timeline due to the requirements of the law. So the districting master submits the proposed final redistricting plan to the committee for publication on November 23rd. That requires a final public hearing on November 30th, and then a final vote on the redistricting plan on December 7th. Next slide, please. So with that, I would like to introduce the districting master. I will now turn it over to Dennis Higgins to present draft maps. He has draft maps A, B, and C, and then he will open it up for your feedback and your input.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson Williams. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. I'm sharing my screen, and if my screen is being shared successfully, you should be able to see a map of King County showing Plan A, proposed redistricting Plan A. Is that correct? Are you able to see Plan A?
Correct.
Great. Thank you. So thank you again, Commissioner Jackson Williams, other commissioners, Chair Schindler, and thank you to all of you for being here today. I'm Dennis Higgins. I'm the districting master serving the 2021 King County Council Districting Committee. And what we're looking at, what we're going to look at are 3 draft plans for balancing, as Commissioner Jackson Williams mentioned, the population imbalances that currently exist that developed over the past 10 years since the last redistricting. So on each of these maps, you're going to see 2 things in particular. One, in dark black outline, is the current county council district boundaries. And then underneath that, you'll see shading that depict the proposal in each plan with a different color for each of the 9 county council districts. You'll notice also that we're going to be zoomed in on basically the western half of King County. If you're not familiar with the size and extent of King County, it does extend all the way up to the crest of the Cascades in the east. And there is not, most of the population of King County is clustered in the western half. So these maps are all showing you the western half of King County because that's where all the action is, as they say. So I'll begin to tell you about Plan A by looking at the northwest part of King County in North Seattle and Shoreline. Currently, you can see in black again is the current county council district boundary between District 1 and District 4. The proposal in Plan A proposes to take the Holler Lake neighborhood out of District 4 and place it into District 1. Also coming out of District 4, which was the district that grew the most over the past 10 years population-wise, proposed to come out of District 4 is part of the Wallingford neighborhood west of I-5, also the East Lake neighborhood and South Lake Union to approximately West Lake, proposed to go into District 2. Another change proposed for District 4 is that the boundary in downtown Seattle between District 4 and District 8 is proposed to move from approximately Madison Street to approximately Stewart Street and Westlake. So those are the changes you're seeing in this area. And just a reminder also that all of these maps are available on the districting website that was mentioned at the beginning and will be mentioned again at the end. Moving further south in Seattle, you see that the unincorporated area north of Tukwila is proposed to be moved from District 8 into District 2. Before I go further, let me just point out one more thing, which is that all of the Chinatown International District has been reunited into one district in this proposal into District 8. Continuing further south, there are some changes proposed in the boundary between District 8 and District 5. The entirety of the city of Tukwila is brought into District 5 in this proposal, and the entirety of the city of Burien is brought into District 8 in this proposal. So those are the changes that you're seeing in this area. Further south, the boundaries between 5 and 7 are basically the same, with the minor exception of a few neighborhoods in southeast Kent. Moving back around up to the east side, there is a change proposed in the Eastgate neighborhood south of I-90, which is currently in District 6, but is proposed to be moved into District 9 in this proposal, along with a small area near Lakemont Boulevard. Continuing further north, you can see that District 6, which takes up most of the city of Bellevue, is proposed to be brought further south. So the north boundary of District 6 moves a bit to the south, excluding part of Bothell and the south part of Woodenville, as well as a portion of Kirkland. In exchange, it is taking in a portion of the city of Redmond, including downtown Redmond in this area. In this plan, the city of Woodenville is reunited in its entirety in District 3. And again, this is Plan A. That is a summary of Plan A. I will now move on to Plan B. What you're seeing on the screen now is proposed draft Plan B. Again, on this map, as with the previous map, the current county council district boundaries are shown in a black outline, and the proposed changes to the districts are shown in shading underneath. So let's begin again in North Seattle. In North Seattle, we can see that a chunk of Holler Lake and Broadview are proposed to go from District 4 into District 1. We can also see that District 4 I apologize, that District 1 is brought further to the south, where it currently ends at approximately 75th. It moves further to the south to approximately 45th. So District 1 takes in, again, part of Northwest Seattle and also takes in a part of the North University District and Ravenna. Going further south, there is the boundary between District 4 and District 2 is roughly the same until you get to downtown Seattle and Capitol Hill. Downtown Seattle and Capitol Hill are currently in District 8, but in Plan B are proposed to be brought into District 2. And continuing slightly further south, you can see that there is a significant shift here between District 2 and District 8. The boundary, which is currently approximately I-5, is moved to the Duwamish River in this proposal. So the boundary between 2 and 8 moves from I-5 to the Duwamish River. Continuing down to the south, District 8 moves significantly to the south, as you can see in this area. Currently, the boundary between District 8 and District 5 is in black right here, but what you're seeing is that in Plan B, the city of Normandy Park, a part of the city of Des Moines, the entirety of the city of Burien, and the entirety of the city of SeaTac are brought into District 8. Let me just mention Vashon Island in all three plans, Plan A, B, and C, remains in its entirety in District 8. The only connection for Vashon, which is part of King County, to the mainland is the Vashon Ferry from Fauntleroy to the north part of Vashon. And in all three proposals, that does not change. Vashon Island remains in District 8. Moving back over to look at the changed proposed District 5, Northeast Renton is proposed to be brought into District 5 in exchange for the area that it loses to District 8 in Burien, SeaTac, etc. Further south, the boundary between District 7 and 5 remains, again, basically the same, some minor changes in Southeast Kent and also south of the city of Covington, west of Maple Valley. Continuing around counterclockwise to the northeast and the east side, perhaps the most significant change to District 9 is that it takes in the entirety of the city of Issaquah in this proposed Plan B. It also moves significantly further north into the city of Bellevue to approximately southeast 16th. Currently, the boundary follows I-90 and then south of Eastgate, but in this proposal, District 9 shifts to the north and takes in more of South Bellevue. District 6 retains Mercer Island. Again, Mercer Island stays in District 6 in all three plans. District 6, as you can see, shifts to the north to take in part of Kenmore and the Juanita neighborhood of Kirkland, as well as part of South Bothell. Looking quickly at the city of Redmond, District 3 shifts slightly to the west to take in more of the city of Redmond in this area west of downtown Redmond, approaching but not including Overlake. And then in this plan also, as in Plan A, the city of Woodenville is proposed to be brought entirely into District 3. That concludes my presentation on Plan B. I will now move to Plan C. I don't like the way this is rendering. I'm going to close it and reopen it. Please excuse me for just a moment. Please give me just a moment while this reopens, and I apologize for the delay. I need to set it to a different zoom factor, so I'll do that and scroll it down slightly. Okay, the rendering problem is now fixed. We are now looking at proposed Plan C for redistricting. As with the other two plans, the current county council boundaries are shown in the dark black line. This plan is compacts District 4 and changes it in a way that the other two plans do not, into a district that spans the north part of the city of Seattle, north of the Ship Canal and south of approximately 115th Street. So you can see where the current boundary goes here, and District 4, which formerly took in Magnolia and Queen Anne. In this proposed Plan C, Council District 4 is kind of shifted to more of an east-west district that takes in all of North Seattle from the Ship Canal to 115th. And you can see what that does to District 1, also what it does to District 2 and to District 8. District 8 in this Plan C makes quite a shift to the north, where it stops currently at Madison. In this proposed Plan C, it instead continues to the north and takes in Magnolia and Queen Anne. In Plan C, Capitol Hill also moves into District 2, and the Chinatown International District is united in District 8. Further south in this proposed Plan C, the Boeing Field and Georgetown and North Tequila unincorporated areas are proposed to move from District 8 into District 2. Moving further south, you can see that the result of shifting District 8 to the north in this proposal also means that District 5 shifts to the north. It retains the entirety of the city of Des Moines, but loses a large part of the central part of Kent to District 7. District 5 does also, in this proposal, take in the northeast part of Renton, including Kennydale and the Highlands. Continuing further south, you can see, and I'm going to scroll the map here so you can see it better. The proposed Plan C makes quite a significant change to District 9, where it currently cuts the Enumclaw Plateau in half. District 9 in this proposed Plan C shifts significantly to the west and takes in a large part of the city of Auburn, the Lee Hill neighborhood, as well as southeast Auburn. It also takes in the entirety of the Enumclaw Plateau and the Muckleshoot Indian Reservation in this proposed Plan C. Going again further to the northeast, on the east side, you can see again, I mentioned Kennydale and the Highlands moving into District 5 from District 9. And the city of Bellevue is brought into District 6. So the boundary between District 6 and District 9 is proposed to be shifted to the south in Plan C, to the south boundary of the city of Bellevue. So the entirety of the city of Bellevue is now in the proposed new District 6 here in Plan C. Also, continuing around to the northeast, you can see that the entirety of the city of Woodenville, whereas currently only North Woodenville is in District 1, all of Woodenville is proposed to be in District 1 in proposed Plan C, as well as a large part of Kirkland and northeast Redmond. Finally, some minor changes between the boundary of District 6 and District 3 can be seen here in west part of Redmond. That concludes my presentation on Plan C. And with that, I will turn it back over to the chair.
Thank you, Dennis, and thank you for that presentation. We're now going to turn this over to you. And as I indicated before, if you could please raise your hand using the hand function on the Zoom to provide public comment. When you are called on, could you please state your name for the record before providing comment? And as I said, after you raise your hand, staff will unmute you.
And Madam Chair, the first name I saw was Alicia. Alicia, can you unmute yourself and first?
Certainly. Hi, my name is Alicia Bush, and I'm a Maple Valley resident and part of the 5th Legislative District. I really appreciate the great thought and consideration that has been put into all of these proposed redistricting maps. I know this is not an easy task. I strongly support Commissioner Sims' proposed legislative and congressional map, as her map clearly demonstrates the most logical map outlines and does not disrupt municipality or school district representation at the state and federal legislative levels to nearly the degree that the others' maps would. However, I would advocate that additional revisions are made to this map so as to not split up cities into a situation where they have multiple congressional districts or legislative districts. After years of advocacy within our legislative, congressional levels, as well as local city and school district levels, having multiple representatives makes advocacy very difficult and disjointed. I'm very disappointed to see the clear gerrymandering in many of these maps. This effort undermines democracy and disenfranchises our communities. It is also disappointing to see cities and school districts split into 2, 3, and even 4 different legislative and congressional representations. This makes legislative advocacy, again, very difficult, leading to systemic disenfranchisement. Change is inevitable, but you have the opportunity to make change in the most equitable ways possible. I hope that all of the commissioners put aside any long-term political goals and really consider the needs of each community and how critical consistent representation is to any and all communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And who Patrick or Aaron?
Beth Baisley was the next name I saw come up.
All right.
Thanks very much. My name is Beth Baisley, or officially I would be on record as Elizabeth Baisley. I'm a 29-year resident of what is now Sammamish, having been a part of this community for such a long time. I will say much less eloquently than Alicia before me, but no less passionately that it's really important to me that we keep together communities that share alignment, priorities, communities that are not just towns, but they are greater communities. Sammamish and Issaquah, it was kind of iffy. Who am I? Am I unincorporated King County? Am I Issaquah? And well, today I'm Sammamish. But we feel like all one community, as we do with our neighbors just up the highway with Snoqualmie Valley. It would be a sadness to me to cut these apart, as they have at one point been a single city. So I am advocating for keeping our communities together, as your own priority said, and those that work in close alignment, share school districts, and that are family groups, so to speak. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I really appreciate the effort that I know this takes to gather so much community input. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Patrick?
Next name I saw was Lori Little.
Thank you, Patrick. And thank you to the entire committee. I understand that this is a huge amount of work and there are a lot of different forces pulling you in different directions. So I very much appreciate all the hard work that you've put into this. I am a 20-year resident of Bellevue and part of the 41st Legislative District. I work quite closely with activists and participants in getting out the vote in the 41st. And so I will speak only to the 6th, 3rd, and 9th districts here because they're the ones that fall in the 41st. I would like to speak in support of the first map, which most closely aligns with the way that we kind of view the world right now. I'm particularly interested in keeping Issaquah and Sammamish together because those are, in your words, existing communities of related and mutual interest. And I think taking Issaquah out of the group with Sammamish and the Snow Valley takes them out of an area of constituents that have a lot of the same issues and puts them into a group with Bellevue, which doesn't really make sense to me. As you said, communities are stronger when they vote together, and I think having continuity of representation is important. I'm not sure if I can mention, but I am concerned additionally by the fact that Kathy Lambert has spoken in support of removing Issaquah from her district. which seems to be potentially politically motivated. And I will join Alicia in urging the entire committee to make sure that politics doesn't enter this decision and that we are really focused on our primary goal of preserving existing communities of related and mutual interest. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for those thoughtful comments.
The next I saw, Madam Chair, was June Campbell.
June?
Hi, I just unmuted myself and I tried to turn my video on, but I was unable to do that. I really appreciate the explanation of the different maps because I found it very difficult to follow before just looking at the maps myself. So thank you so much for showing how the boundaries would change with the different approaches. I have lived in Bellevue since 2012. Before that, I was in Kitsap County. In the Lakemont neighborhood of Bellevue, we're part of Bellevue, but we're south of I-90, but we are very much a part of Bellevue. So we are aligned with Bellevue. I will say that just today, like every other week, I go up to Carnation to Jubilee Farm, where we're part of a CSA and support the farming community up there in the valley. And I very much view Issaquah, the Snoqualmie Valley, and Sammamish as one kind of entity that really needs to stick together. I do feel that their interests are really aligned as they're trying to preserve agriculture and also deal with development. And it's just such an incredibly beautiful area. And I would hate to see those communities broken up. It's just an incredibly special place. So I would really encourage that map A seems to me to be the best one. I don't know anything about the politics involved in that, but it seems like it tweaks it enough to satisfy the issues with the population changing while keeping as close to possible the current lines. So that is my input. Thank you so much for allowing the public input.
Thank you, June. Patrick, you're muted, or I can't hear you.
Chair Schindler, next we have Diana Hart from the city of Woodenville.
Thank you, Erin.
Good afternoon. My name is Diana Hart. I'm the Intergovernmental Affairs Coordinator for the city of Woodenville. I first want to thank the King County Districting Committee for their hard work and appreciation for moving the city of Woodenville into one district in all 3 draft plans. While we have been well represented by both the current King County Council members, we are a small city, and focusing our community into one district will ensure that our voice is not further diminished by our much larger neighboring cities. Woodenville is a unique city in King County. At roughly 13,000 in population, we have a nearly equal number of regional residents that come here to work in our large industrial and adult beverage industries, and pre-pandemic, over 750,000 tourists a year. An argument can be made to fit us in with smaller North King County cities, to put us in with big tech cities on the east side where many of our residents work, or with the unincorporated communities to our east where many King County residents have Woodenville addresses and come to enjoy our city amenities. Regardless of what district Woodenville is eventually placed, our request is that the city limits of Woodenville is maintained entirely in one district as each of the draft maps currently propose. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next name is Carol Brown.
Okay, Carol Brown.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to this redistricting committee. And I wanted to appreciate all of the hard work that you've done. I know it took countless hours and lots of Zoom meetings. And I really appreciate that you've really looked at this with fresh eyes and provided 3 maps that provide very different views of the future of our county and bringing different communities together in different ways. There's a lot of different ways, obviously, to solve this problem. But I just wanted to appreciate that you really took this on in an amazing way. I've lived in King County since I was 3 years old, moved up from Pierce County where I was born, and then lived in King County all of my life. I currently live in Bellevue in the Eastgate area, which seems to be a battleground between the district lines. And I just wanted to, put my 2 cents in for either map A or map C. Map A, because I think it doesn't change the existing boundaries too much, but does satisfy that equalizing of population because of the difference in population growth. Map B is seriously a problem, as I see it, for taking out Issaquah and Sammamish from that district. Essentially, it would allow the current council member from that district to choose her voters rather than the voters choosing their next council members. And I just find that personally a problem. I appreciate trying to keep communities together. I am currently the chair of the King County, of the 41st District Democrats. And we have to organize that legislative district into multiple school districts and multiple congressional districts and now multiple council districts. If we can keep like communities, like, it makes our job a little easier in really trying to get people to vote. And, you know, we want to make sure that people really feel like their voices are heard. Keeping those different communities together is the way to do that. So I would prefer map A. Map C is also acceptable. Map B is definitely not. Thank you.
The next name I see is Martin Buckley. Thank you, Carol.
Martin?
Martin, can you unmute yourself?
There we go. You can hear me now. Somebody let me unmute myself.
We can, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the committee, and thank you to Dennis Higgins for basically driving us through the maps. I have to declare that I'm a 14-year resident of Issaquah, and really enjoy living here in Issaquah and also in King County, and I appreciate the work that everybody's doing to try and get some district realignment done here. In my 14 years in Issaquah, I have appreciated the semi-rural nature of Issaquah itself, and my natural gravitation is towards Map A and the alignment out towards the Snoqualmie Valley, rather than into the what would be in plans B and C, more of a southerly aspect. And again, I really have to agree with others who have spoken before me about keeping not just cities together, but school districts and contiguous communities as well. So again, thank you everybody for your listening to the public's views. And again, I really would like to keep Issaquah with everywhere from North Bend through to Sammamish as one block. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. The next name I see is Nancy Kick. Nancy, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, thank you. My name is Nancy Kick. I live in Burien, and I again thank you all for your work. It's immense, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but I did just want to share my perspective as being a person who lives in a city that has multiple districts right now. We have 2 King County Council districts and 2 Washington legislative districts. And I actually do a lot of lobbying and championing for things for the city of Burien, and personally kind of like having 2 council members that I can talk to about Burien issues and 6 representatives from the state legislature that we can ask for support. We recently had all 6 of our legislators reach out to our city council to lobby for something, and it just felt like a bigger impact. So I get it, what people are saying, and my preference is actually for Map A, which would bring all of Burien into one county council district. But I just wanted to share that there are some perks to being split that maybe people don't notice, that you just get more people to pester. But anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Janice Bristol is the next name that I see. If you can unmute yourself, Janice.
Greetings. I tried to start my video, but it won't start. So I apologize for that. Thank you so much for doing all of this work. It's very impressive. I'm just going to jump to the chase. I totally agree about Plan B. There's just so many things wrong with it. I guess just because it can't find anything right with it. So Plan C, I find very impressive. I love the horizontal approach. To me, that made quite an impact for a few reasons. I I appreciate that Chinatown is being united. And by the way, I have been in Bellevue for 30 years. I lived in Seattle for 10 prior to that. I'm from Montana. I own a CPA firm in Bellevue. And I am on that line in Bellevue where I could cross the street and I'd be in District 3. I cross a different street and I'm in 6, and I cross another one, I'm in 9. So I feel like I'm on this like pivot point. So it's just a hard place to be. And so personally, I like the horizontal approach. It gives me personally a greater sense of who my community is, like for sharing resources, et cetera. But back to the bigger plan. I also really appreciated Plan C with regards to the waterways, the coastlines and the lake lines, the people who live on the lakes and people who care for the lakes. They all have like a common culture. And I think that there could be some positive things with keeping them in the same district, which to me, it appears Plan C does that. But I am also okay with Plan A. And I think regardless, it's critical we do keep Issaquah and Sammamish together, because these communities share resources, they share cultures, they share events, they are sisters. And we can't separate these two cities. So please, you know, I don't know why, but it just seems like we have been able to build something really great over here. And this part of Bellevue I'm in, Issaquah and Sammamish, that's where I hang out. So I don't know. Those are my words. And so thank you so much for your time and all your work on this.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, those are the only folks I see with their hands up.
Patrick, do you want to unmute everyone? So if there's anybody who we've missed who wants to make a comment, can do so.
I think that's a good idea, but I'm going to defer to Aaron to do that. Aaron is way better than me. So.
I'm going to go ahead and allow everyone the ability to unmute. You should now have that power.
Okay, so if we missed you, if you still want to give public comment and for various reasons you were having trouble with the raise hand function, please unmute yourself now and make yourself known.
Don't see any hands. Do any of our interpreters have anyone in the separate rooms who we missed or wanted to comment?
Not seeing any, Madam Chair.
No. All right. Well, thank you all very much for joining us today and participating in our town hall. We really appreciate your comments. They'll be very helpful in our continuing to work on these maps with the goal of coming up with one map. We hope you stay informed on the committee's work, and we encourage you to email us at districting@kingcounty.com. We are happy to have you, and please feel free to provide any additional comments that you would like to us by email. So thank you very much.